Setting up auto scaling with an app service environment is almost identical to the way it works with virtual machine scale sets, especially in terms of building out the rules. But let's take a look at this. Let's go over to app services and we'll create an app service. And for the template here, I'm just going to do a blank web application. It's going to be really basic. So we'll create this. We'll give it a name like MikePF18, something unique under AzureWebsites.net. Go ahead and do a Windows app service plan. And then down here for the app service plan itself, let's click on this and we'll create a new one because I want to show you a couple things here. So we'll say, this is my app service plan. Central US is fine, but the pricing tier is going to determine whether or not you can use auto scaling. So for example, you might choose to do dev test, but if you take a look down here, it doesn't include anything in terms of scaling or auto scaling. This is a manual scale option here in the B1 class. That's a manual scale up to 3 instances. So for production, you want to come over here and use one of these app service plan models here. So you can see down here with the S1, we've got auto scale up to 10 instances. And of course, as you go higher, you can auto scale to more instances depending on the app service plan tier that you pick. So we at least want an S1 tier. So we're going to apply that, click OK. And so after we click on create here, it's going to build the web app on top of our new app service plan. And then we can set up auto scaling for this web application. So let's click on create. And this will take just a second to run. So let's give this 30 seconds, perhaps 60 seconds, and then it should be up and running. Okay, now the deployment has succeeded, and let me take you over to resource groups here. What I want to show you here is if we go into this resource group, you can see that we've got the app service, the web app itself, and then we've got the app service plan. So the app service plan is basically like the virtual machine environment with a load balancer. So notice in the resource group here, we're not seeing a load balancer, we're not seeing a virtual machine scale set, and all that stuff is basically managed. So under the hood here in the app service plan, there's basically a load balancer. We've got the ability to scale out to multiple virtual machines. Also notice that as we're looking here inside the properties inside this app service plan, we've got an option to scale up so we can go to a bigger app service plan type, or we can scale out and configure auto scaling. And so what you'll notice here is as we go into scale out for the app service plan and enable auto scale, we've got the same exact interface that we saw with virtual machine scale sets. So we can configure our capacity settings, we can create our rules for scale out and scale in. It works the exact same way once we've gotten to this point. So hopefully this all makes sense so far, and we're going to kind of circle back to some of these things as we get into the networking section later on. For now, let's move on to the next video, and we'll talk about some scalability considerations if you're using Azure Functions to build serverless applications.